welcome to JG's Fight Talk, sponsored by Rich's Boxing and Limitless Creations. And with me now, James Cook, MBE. How's James?
Not too bad, sir. Not too bad.
Thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Sorry, Jay.
It's a real honour to have you on, mate. I've, looking at your career and what you achieved, you're up there, mate. You're up there.
Thanks, mate.
But we'll go back to the start.
You know what happened, Jay? This Monday morning, I've just quick tell you. Monday morning, yeah, I went to the train station because I do a school in Croydon, boxing, just to teach them the respect and the manners and stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
And just walking to the train, just pulling a guy come off the train, he saying 1 2 1 2. So I turned around and thought, damn, we want to fight, And the guy was able to tell me, yeah, mate, I grew up watching you. And, he tell me about 4 fighters, Michael Watson fight, then the Bruno Bill, Tamo Yusufiti. He said, mate, I watch your career and I follow you. You know what I mean? He said, my son lives down the road. Can he come down to the gym? I said, great, no problem, mate. And today I was walking down the road and shouting out, James Cook. So I thought, even with the afro, somebody recognized me somewhere. So I said, not too bad. And the afro is gone.
How do you feel, though, James, when people remember you for what you've achieved and see you about and acknowledge what you've done? How do you feel about that?
You know what, mate? So deep in my heart, I kind of feel kind of good that I say to somebody they know their boxing, because the people out there and they don't really know their boxing and they don't really see people. But for people to see me without my damn afro, my big mustache, and still recognize me, I feel good, because I thought the afro, 2 inches of the afro, and the mustache is gone. My grandson said to me that day, Uncle, you're not 6'2". I said, I am, but the afro is gone, so I'm about 6'1" now.
Definitely added the height, mate. Add the height. But nice.
Oh, mate, trust me.
Mate, I'm hanging on to the hair I've got. But James, let's go back to the start. When did it all start for you? When did you start?
Honest, mate, boxing started for me in funny enough, North Peckham Estate. It kind of started a bit earlier, when I used to live at Linda's Grove, but in school. But it really started for me when I moved to North Peckham Estate, and I met a friend of mine named Rupert, and he said they're closing the boxing gym down Camwell Green. So we live in Peckham. To us, walking is about 20 minutes walk, and we walk from Peckham to Camwell Green. And there was, usually the gym where I went in school, where we started probably on 1 bag and something like that. But I went down to this gym, and there was about 5 back there, and it basically started from there, mate.
Yeah. What, and you just literally got hooked?
You know what? Basically, what I used to do, funny enough, I used to go in school, I used to hit my friend them and told them they're Joe Fraser and Muhammad Ali. So you used to hit them and just spring around them and say, you can't catch me, because I love Ali. I just love him, And I went down to the gym and I was start sparring with the big guys, them and everybody inside the gym. And my trainer, Jimmy Redrell, he said to me, you're not bad, there's the end of it. And, so we basically started from there. So now, playing around now, I went to a gym, at the Lynn Boxing Club and along Walworth Road, just to have a look at it, mate. And I walk into the gym, Walworth Road, and I saw a skinny little white kid. I tell everybody that, because I got to tell the story as it is. There was a white kid in the corner, skinny kid. At the age of 10, 11, I was tall, And I look at this kid walking, I look at this kid, and somebody said to me, do you want to spar? I look at this kid and I said, yeah, I want to spar. And he must have kicked shit out of me. So I pick up my bag, pick up my stuff, and I walked out the gym and I turned around to the kid and I said, I'll be back for you later. That's how I end up at East Lane. I don't know what this kid looked like. I know his name, but whatever, he was the one who, got me really hooked on that. You know what I mean?
Oh, mate. Just the stories that, that get people hooked on boxing and get them into it is, everyone's individual, aren't they? Everyone's got their own story to tell. But
absolutely. And like I say, I went down there and I end up at the Cumber Grove boxing school, Cumber Grove School. And my trainer, I think from the age of 14, he used to work for the Daily Mirror. So sometimes he come in late and he used to say to me, take the class, and sometimes I used to take the class, right up to around 16, 17. I used to take the class and then he would training somewhere else in Dulwich and he told me to go up there and take the class. So his name was Jimmy Redwell, And what happened, he used to spar with me, and he used to just do things, he drop his hand, do things. And I could never hit him. And I said to him, he said to me, the day you can bash me up in that ring, then I know you're ready. So every evening I go down to the gym, I used to be looking to spar with him. And I think one day I was training for the ABA, and then he went, told me he had bust thigh, he had bust nose, he had everything. And he looked at me and he says, you're ready. And he went home to his wife, and the wife said, Jimmy, what happened? And he said, Jimmy Cook, So yeah, it started from there, mate,
Yeah, yeah.
So I had my first fight probably when I was 14, something like that,
Yeah, yeah. And how did you get on with your amateurs, James?
Amateur, I had about 25, 26, and I lost 6.
Okay.
And yeah, boxed for London against Budapest. So, I did all right. I won the 7-year twice. Got beat in the London final twice by Johnny Graham at Bethnal Green, Yoko Bethnal Green. And my trainer at the time, Jimmy, said to me, if you're going to get robbed like this, you might as well get paid. And I thought, get paid? You can actually get paid to fight? I thought, yeah, I love some of that. You know what I mean? So that's why I turned over, So I turned over. And I was with Billy Winter, who was a black guy from Hackney, who had Chris Christian, who boxed Eric Bummergram for the British title, And then I joined him. And when I was up, the gym was a gym we call it Wellington, with John Conte and these guys used to be at. And I was sparring up there, and my trainer ring me up one day at work, and he said, Jimmy, you're fighting at the Frank Warren Bill of the West End, And I says, who with? And he says, Mick Courtney. So I said, Mick Courtney? I spar with him every night. He was managed by Darky Smith. So I said, what? And he looked at me and he said, well, you're going to make your sparring partner beat you. And that's when I realized there's no friend in boxing. You could have the best friend in the world, but you weigh the same weight, you may have to end up fighting that person. So I went there. So I had a fight with Mick Courtney, beat Mick on points, got 150 pounds. And in the 70s, 150 pounds, is a lot of money, in the 70s, So I got, 82, about 82, So that's when I first had my first pro fight.
Yeah, yeah. And what a career from there, James. 84, you went and won the Southern area against Jenkins.
Yeah.
And then 1990 Story, you won the
TP Jenkins. Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
you
we
won
went to
European in
Belfast,
91.
but it was, and I think, mate, it's unbelievable because when we went to Belfast, we stayed in a hotel called the Europa Hotel, which was the most bomb hotel in Belfast. Nobody told me that until the bloke waked me up and he said, there's a Suntex bomb. I said, what? What is that? You know what I mean? Because, with the year. And so, it was sort of a frightening experience, but it was pretty good. So, must admit, after meeting Story, I was coming through the hotel the next day and 2 Irish guys come towards me and they were huge guy, the big guy, what I mean? And I thought, oh no, what it is now? And they said, mate, we seen the fight, great win, and they buy me the biggest bottle of Irish whiskey you can find at the airport to come through London. So yeah, it was good, mate. And then Frank Perry Wittgenstein, sometimes when you read in the boxing news, you read about fighters, but you never really think you're gonna fight them,
Yeah.
And every week you pick up the boxing news, Perry Wittgenstein was just knocking out people, and I never knew I was fighting him. I was on the plane, and start to read because I was supposed to fight somebody else. That somebody else must have got sick. And my trainer must have said, yeah, we'll have Wittgenstein without telling me. And I looked at his record and I turned around to my trainer and said, damn, I'm going to get killed. It was like 52 fight, 40 knockout. Yeah, I mean, one draw, and I thought, oh my God, yeah, I mean, but yeah, it happened, mate. And when we read, and a guy says to me, so this is why people may not believe in the man above, but I think I believe in him, because I think he helped me out a few times,
Yeah,
as the guy said to me, don't eat the food in the hotel, and my manager had the food and he had the runs all day, and I woke up to like a back street and I had something to it and I was good to go,
yeah, yeah.
so yeah, they tried it from then, mate,
So
you
what
know.
when you
So
look?
even after beating Wittgenstein, um, sorry, mate, I didn't hear that.
That's all right. Keep going, James.
Sorry, Jay. Sorry, I didn't hear that, mate. Sorry, mate. I didn't hear that, mate. Sorry. What was
That's all
that?
right. I was just going to say,
Can you hear me?
looking back at your career,
Yeah.
you talk about that fight in
Mm.
particular, which was for the European, wasn't it? Was that your toughest fight? Would you say your sort of
Yeah.
most prestigious fight?
Uh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. No, I'll tell you the one after that was probably Yusovita. But the toughest, yes, was Perry Wittgenstein. Because, like I said, he had, 50 had fight, so much knockout and one draw. And when we went to the press conference, the Simon Block went with us and they were speaking a whole heap of things. And then Simon Block, funny enough, they speak French and I didn't know. And when he started to speak to them, everything was a bit quieter. So I want to thank him. If not, they'll be messing me around. But yeah, I think it was because it was the hardest. Because the point is, in a sense, this is the first time I start to focus for 10 or 12 round. My mind wasn't it because I know this guy was sort of a puncher. He put me down in round 9, and I got back up. Yeah, I mean, I stopped him in the last round. So I'm grateful for the referee as well, because the referee could have stopped the fight, with the pressure was under, but now he was a good referee. So I got to say thank him for that as well.
Yeah, yeah. No, how when you look back to that fight in particular, and you were knocked down in the ninth,
Mm.
how what was going through
Yeah.
your mind when you hit the deck? Like, were you thinking, was it a case of I've got to get up, or was it a case of blimey, I'm gone here? How do you?
No, it wasn't, it was, yeah, I think what was in my head, to be honest, what was in my head was just listening to the count and try and get up at 7 and then go again. Because, to me, I've always put in my head, if you're going to beat me, you have to stop me. But if I'm still there, it's not happening. To the end, I think the end of every fight, I must be the winner. So him putting me down, I'm not fitness wise, but pretty good. I wasn't shake up or anything like that. He put me down, but I'm quite honestly say I was not shaken up. So I just got back into what I was doing long distance and catch him with a right hand, and then he just went back staggering, and then I knew I had to put the finishing touch on that, which I think with the punch, the uppercut I developed from Prince Rodney. As Prince Rodney used to hit me with the uppercut every time we spar. So I kind of developed from him.
Yeah, well, as I was saying before we hit record, we were chatting, weren't we, about you travelled anywhere, wherever you were told to go, you went, and there's not a lot of fighters that will
Yeah,
do that these days. They sort of stick to where they know, and you were Germany, Holland,
man.
France, Italy, Finland,
Yeah,
and all over the UK. So
that's right. Absolutely. And you mentioned about my hardest fight. I think that was the fight where you say, what give me more pleasure out of any fight. I think is I traveled to Finland and Tamo Vita in an ice ring for 10 rounds. And he beat me. And at the end of 10 rounds, they was saying, because they do a lot of ice hockey over there. So the ring was sort of in an ice ring, and they covered with carpet. And after 10 rounds, I look at Vita and he was sweating. And they're looking at me and they was shouting, Cook, is the weather? I think I was still bloody cold. And so when me and Yusuf Vita fight the final eliminator for the world title, time of Dry Mickey, it was one and number two. I was number one, he was number two, and there was a final eliminator. And his trainer says, was James Cook fought, he didn't think Tamo Yusuf, my opponent was better Tamo Yusuf Vita. So he got me upset then. So I said, bring it on. I've got a promoter now. I don't have to travel. I'm at home. I've got a promoter now who's going to bring the fight over, which Mickey Duff did. So I think that was that fight out of any fight give me more pleasure than anything else to stop him in 7, you know?
Yeah, yeah. No, what just an incredible career. And like we were saying, 35 fights, 25 wins, and 14 knockouts. You know, that's some career, James.
Thanks, mate.
Especially, you know, there's a lot of people that talk about the British being one of the most prestigious titles, you know, and it's still got that worth today.
Oh,
But
definitely,
you got it,
definitely.
you know, and not everyone
Yeah,
gets the British title.
absolutely. I honestly think say is the best belt out of the lot. You know, the British. I say to myself, honest mate, I fight Errol Bummer Graham in 1988 in Sheffield, you know, and I actually thought I was in bloody Germany. You know, this man was loved by so many, you know. And I think for my first major title, I don't think I did come out of my shell. I know I trained out. This is the first time I ever went away in my life. I leave Hackney by my missus. I went to Elephant Castle where my auntie was, you know, and I run up Elephant Escalator for about a week because I thought there's no way Bomber Graham gonna beat me like that, you know. I like the way he beat his fighters, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
And he stopped me in round 7 by a cut and everything. And I said to myself after that, any British fighter beat me, I'd retire because I didn't think they was as good as him. You know, I really rated him, you know, pretty high, you know. And for funny enough, how things is, you know, I remember going to Belfast with Barney Eastwood when Graham was going to fight Colombo, and I had to spar with him with one hand, just the left hand, because Colombo got a good left jab. And they said, you got a good left jab. About a week, I think Aaron Graham bashed me up because I won't use the left hand. So when we, both of us now joined Mickey Duff at Elton Castle, he was at King's Cross Gym, and we were sparring together. And Mickey Duff was screaming his head off because I thought, this got to be payback time, you know? And we just went at each other. Mickey was screaming, no, stop it. You're not getting paid. You know, but I was trying to put a bit of payback on him, you know, for that one and swearing, you know.
Oh, James, your stories, mate. Honestly, you're a quality act to follow, mate. And I think there'll be a lot of people. And like we were saying, you know, with Richard Williams and you know, good old Wayne Alexander.
Yeah, I actually, you know what, mate? I actually, you know, when I started to train Richard, when Richard come to me, I think Richard had 2 fights and lost 1, you know. I just started training. And when I Ted Bammy at the time, you know, and they really worked together. But I look at Richard and I thought, there's something about him when he puts stuff together. So far, that's why I named him The Secret, you know, because, you know, when he puts things together, he produced quite a good punch. And so Ted Bammy, I named him Dangerous Ted Bammy because I know he bloody could punch as well. You know what I mean? Once he's punched, I name him Dangerous. So I used to have them 2 down the gym. It was really fantastic, you know. And then we had a young man named Robert Scott Ayers used to be down there, used to spar with him. Robert Scott Ayers was a great guy, good guy, you know what I mean? And Robert just turned over with a lady. I forgot her name, you know, but Robert turned over with her. And then we was done by the Henry Cooper. And Eugene Maloney said to me, James, who do you want? So I looked through the rating. Eugene Maloney said Tony Booth. And I thought, no, I fought Tony Booth twice and Tony Booth could be tricky, you know? So I
Yeah.
said, no, I looked through the rating and I gone for a guy named Cleve, but he had 2 names, you know, but the other name slipped me, you know? So when I went to the show, I see Cleve and I said to Cleve, what are you doing here? He said, James, I'm fighting your boy. And I went, oh, shit. You know, because if I didn't know it was him, trust me, Jay, I would never choose that fight for Robert, you know. And Robert turned around to me and he says, oh, shit. He said to me, what's the matter? So I said, nothing, nothing. I know the boy could punch. I know the boy been overmatched, but I know the boy could fight. And he was at the bottom of the bloody rating, you know, and he just come up from Jamaica. And I thought, oh, God, you know. So anyway, they were fighting and the TV was following Robert, you know, and he hit Robert and Robert fell straight down. And I looked at him inside the ring and I said, good shot. He turned around to me and said, yeah, but you're my coach. But I said, yeah, but it's a good shot. He hit you with, you know. So yeah, you know, so you forgive me for that, you know.
But James,
And yeah, so yeah, we was all down there.
I'll put a question to you now, James.
Yes, mate.
If if um,
Yes, mate.
if Richard fought the same time as you did, who would have won?
Gotta be me. That wasn't as good as me. Yeah, I gotta be me. You know what, mate? Listen, I fight a guy named Michael Watson, yeah?
Yeah,
Michael
yeah,
Watson was pretty tough, yeah?
yeah,
And I beat Michael on points. Now to beat Michael on points, I told him I bashed him up. That's why I got the result. I was with Michael a couple of weeks ago, and Michael says, me and him speak every day. We see each other every week, and things like that. And he says to me, "Shut your mouth before I punch you." And the guy was looking after Michael said, "But Mike, you tried once already, and it didn't work." So I said to him, "Listen to your Kira."
yeah, yeah,
But yeah, I look at fighters, and and you kind of study them, and I thought to myself, in our time, we didn't run from any fighters, or we didn't run from a sparring session, but so we got tough doing the sport. My first sparring session with a guy named Dennis Andro. Dennis Andro was, I think I was 22, I could dance, do everything. I mean, then they said, "You want to spar?" And I said, "Yeah." "How much round?" I said, "6." And the guy looked at me and said, "You sure?" So I said, "Yeah, 6." And the first round, then Sandra was missing me a big swing. The second time, it was getting closer. The third one, it was getting just past my chin. So I looked at him and said, "That's enough now." It's sparring again. Then John McGarvey, sparring with John McGarvey at the Wellington, they said to me, "Spar with John." And I looked at him, I said, "No, he's too big." They said to me, "No, he's a light middle." And I looked at him, and every time he sparred Johnny Ridgman, Mick Courtney, they all come out and they all hold in the bag. Jim Mugabe hit me with a jab, and I thought, shit, he ain't in check the right hand yet. That's where I learned my rope doper from, how to survive. So, yeah, when fighters now sort of skip fight and this and that, I know it become sort of serious business, but I don't know who for. Because when you meet certain fighters and you go to that level where you're superior, you cannot make it because you miss out all the guys that you're supposed to really fight to put you in that position.
yeah, yeah. No, 100%, 100%. What advice would you give to someone in the sport now? Like, say they're coming through, would you tell them to go through the route of going the British,
You,
the Commonwealth, the European?
absolutely, absolutely. I definitely would say start from there. Tell any fighter start from there, because to me, if you can't be champion inside your own country, to me, you're gonna struggle to be champion in the world.
Yeah,
And there's some good fighters over here. Whether 7-year level, British level, Commonwealth. I mean, whatever it is, to me, British level. To me, I love the British belt. I think it's the most prettiest belt in the world.
yeah,
I'd say, yeah, go through that route first. Then they come on with European or whatever. Definitely, I'd say to them, go through that route. And what I'd say to them, find yourself a good promoter. You know, um, you know, I'll speak about it. I don't know if you read my book, Jay.
no, I haven't yet. No, but I think I'm going to have
Okay,
to.
I wrote it through the book, and I said, fighters, we believe in managers. So if a manager said to a fighter, the fighting starts, because they're the manager, we start to believe in them. And I said to people, if you say as a manager, you said to a fighter, look, lend me 50 quid or £100, a fighter will lend it to you. But one of the worst thing is to try and rob them.
Yeah,
You're really robbing them, you know, and then you take your 25% out of that and then you rob them. And, I said that's the worst thing. Now, to me now, one of the worst thing is to me now is fighters get a sold ticket, you
yeah,
know.
yeah,
And when I was fighting, I didn't, mate, the fight then was made. You have your promoter, your matchmaker, they pay for the show, you fight, you
yeah.
know. I think the most ticket I ever sell, I think I gave them away, and Mickey Duff charged me for them. He said, "Don't give away your ticket because I'm going to charge you for it." I mean, and so I give away about 10 tickets and put it back. I said, "Hell no, no, no more, that's it." So yeah, mate, because even though, yeah, and I remember I was at You Cool, where actually when I was fighting Mark Kayla and just joined Mickey Duff. Me, a young man pulled me up a couple of weeks ago and he said, "James, do you remember me?" And I said, "No." And I said, "Where is that?" He said he wanted to get into the show and he never had no ticket. And I took him to the desk and told Mickey to give him a ticket. Mickey gave him the ticket, but I said, Mickey must have charged me for the ticket then. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's the advice I'd give them. Find a good promoter, somebody who ain't afraid of spending money, to get where you want. And, right now, there's two promoters out there, whether we like it, yes or not. It's Eddie Earns over here and Frank Warren. They're the only two guys. I'm not saying the rest of the promoter, them can't do nothing, but it's hard work because what they're doing now, they're forcing people to sell tickets. And if you're a fighter, to me, when you have to go sell ticket for your opponent, you're paying your opponent to beat you up. You're looking at £1,000 or more. Then you have to pay yourself, sell ticket to pay yourself. And out of selling that, now you've got to sell ticket to pay your trainer. You understand me? Your trainer got to get his money. Your manager probably have to take my. To me, I honestly feel to me this is a wickedness on that front. If you're gonna promote, you're promoting the show, you pay for everything. I think it's hard enough for the guys then to sort of go work, come home, and run around selling tickets. It's a joke in boxing terms because now you have stupid guys on TV doing not even kickboxing, doing this celebrity stuff, boxing and earning more money than guys who's been there trying to learn this thing for 10 years or more years. So it's at a liberty,
No,
So that's the only thing what gripes me about this sport at the moment,
No, I know what you mean. And like you're talking about sort of the YouTube fights and all these people,
right.
all the celebrity stuff coming forward and all that sort of thing. And like you're saying, you've got all these boxers that grind day in, day out and have a job on the side as well to get where they need to be. It's tough. You don't go into the sport, you're not going to walk into it and walk straight into Vegas. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, James, quickly before we call it, you were talking about some great fighters in Britain, saying there's a lot of British talent over here. Is there anyone in particular that you like?
At the moment, to be honest, I think if he could tidy up, because see what happened, Jay. A lot of people over here, people don't understand boxing. There's a lot of talent, just raw talent. If you're good enough or you're a good coach and you can polish them up, you understand me? And you give them that little bit extra, which is great because people think professional boxing, you just go there and box, but there's a lot of skill behind being a professional boxer. And Joshua Butcher, I think if this kid could get the right coach and tie him up where he learn how to slip and he don't have to be taking big punch all the time to get somebody out. Of the confident, I have a confident like a Tyson Fury, of that confident, I think he'd be a great young man to watch out for.
Yeah. No, definitely. Well, and it's come from your mouth, so what a privilege to, say his name.
Absolutely, mate. Because the thing is, you look around and what I've noticed, I just say with fighters, to me, as people says, to me, if anybody say anything about Muhammad Ali with fight, I remember listening in Peckham, listening to Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier on the radio. And I tell everybody I divorced my wife, Muhammad Ali. I just love this man, and I told people, and I was listening to the fight on the radio, and I got up and I said to my dad was walking down the stairs and I was actually in tears. And my dad looked at me and he said, "What's the matter?" And I said, "Dad, I can't believe it. Muhammad Ali lost." My dad looked up at me and he says, kiss his teeth like a West Indian parents, walked down the stairs, looked back at me and says, "We got to lose and win sometime." And when my dad said that, I kind of stand up. And for that few seconds, I thought if it wasn't my dad, I'd jump on him down the stairs and we would start fighting. So, to have that confidence, to have that confidence, I'm saying there's talent. Yeah, there's raw talent and there's guys who have to learn. We had guys over here like Kirk and Lang, you understand me? Talented guy. And I said to people, when these people so special, there's always something goes wrong with them. You have Kirk and Lang over here, so talented. You have Georgie Best. You have Erkan Higgins. You understand what I'm saying? these guys is just special talent. You know what I mean? And for we to be as special as these guys, you know, you have to work hard, and you may never reach that talent as these guys. But some guys just born with it. But I said when the talent is too good, there must be something goes wrong with that talent because it's too good, you know?
Yeah, yeah. No, definitely, definitely. Well, James, I have to say, what a privilege to have you on. And I'll say it again, you know, Southern area, British and European super middleweight champion. Sounds good, doesn't it?
Thanks, mate.
But
Jay,
you
I'm glad
take
my
care,
kids, when I
James.
said, you know, Jay, you too, mate. And thanks a lot, Jay.
No, no
Cheers,
problem
mate.
at all. And we'll have a catch up soon and stay in touch.
Cheers, mate. Yeah, definitely, mate.
You
Cheers,
take
bro.
care.
Bless it. Bye.
Bless.
Okay, mate.
James Cook, MBE, as we say, Southern area, British and European champion. And yeah, what a gen. What a career and the stories he's got. Yeah, don't diss Muhammad Ali. He'll love you. And yeah, what a lovely guy. 35 fights, 25 wins, 14 knockouts. James Cook. So yeah, check him out. He's got his book out as well. I'm definitely going to give it a look. And yeah, thanks for watching. You've been watching JG's Fight Talk, sponsored by Rich's Boxing and Limitless Creations. If you like what you've seen, go over, hit the subscribe button and check out the rest of the content on YouTube. But thank you very much. Take care.